Hello, my name is Elisa Caminero. I'm the host of Intangiblia, and welcome to this flash episode on the START Summit. I've been interviewing people all around the summit to talk about intellectual property technology and how it can impact the different businesses and entrepreneurships. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and let's meet all these amazing founders, entrepreneurs, investors, and people who are making a change in the world.
Hi, I'm Hector Gonzalez. I am the co-founder and CEO of SpinCloud. So at SpinCloud, we build brain-inspired microchips on supercomputers for AI work. The IP strategy is very important for a company like us, like a deep tech company particularly. So we have a dual strategy, one for hardware and one for software. So actually, our hardware strategy is around patents. So we have some strategic patents that protect the strategy all the way from the microchip to the supercomputer level. And around software, actually, we are a little bit more softer in software because we want to incentivize people to use our infrastructure. So we have a fully open source but permissible open source approach with software with a permissible license like Apache v2. So this allows customers to basically dig very deep into our infrastructure without any IP constraint.
And that's remarkable. So you make a combination which is being protected but also staying open for
exactly. We protect
sure
from a hardware standpoint, but from a software perspective, we are more soft.
Great. And how IT has impacted your business?
Well, it's very important in this specific field because, of course, when you're talking to investors and even customers, they do want to know that what you have is special and that what you have is protected, so that it's not. Especially from a customer perspective, they want to know that your architecture, if they are committing to your architecture, something unique, that they can develop also tools for your own architecture. So you need to ensure that it's a unique architecture and topology is protected. And from an investor perspective, the same thing, right? So they want to bet on an infrastructure play that is be able to maintain their technology in a defensible way.
My name is Angelica Terricci. I'm one of the co-founders of AI Tales. Yeah, so it's actually from a personal experience. I had 2 cats myself. I didn't saw that one of my cats was sick. I just recognized it and she was losing a lot of weight, but then it was already too late. And this inspired me to create a solution to keep the cats healthy and happy for a long time.
Amazing. And how intellectual property has impacted your business?
Or in our opinion, IP is something really important, especially for a young business, to make sure that the product and the business is safe, is secured, and we can recommend it to any startup or every young business to go the step to secure the IP and to make it happen that it can thrive for a long time.
Perfect. Can you show us how it works?
Yes, of course. So as soon as the cat goes to the station, it activates first the cat fountain because cats can naturally more water when the water is moving. They can sense this with the whiskers and they think it has less bacteria inside. So this is an easy way to promote the natural drinking habits. We measure the amount of water and food the cat eats and drinks. We also measure the temperature of the cat as well. And here we have a little camera, which we do a facial analysis with. With that, we can see if the cat is in pain and yes, how much pain. This data is directly displayed in the app, so you have your own smartwatch for your cat.
Hi, I'm Alex from Inclusis, and we're building a smartwatch for people with cognitive impairments. So this is our watch. It's optimized for people with autism, ADHD, intellectual disabilities, and we help them understand a little bit more about their daily schedules. We visualize their events with sectors and symbols, and we give interactive voice output from the watch. So it sounds like it's 12 o'clock now, it's time for lunch. So this was has a research background from our university. So we started like over 3 years ago with my co-founder's brother who has epilepsy, and tried to solve some problems for him, realized it works, and based on our research then founded the company. So from early on, we trademarked our design actually, because the software patent, of course, is always a little bit difficult. So what we do now is we have this watch face we have here with the sectors and the symbols. The general structure and design of it is trademarked as a EU design.
And after a few years, decided to leave the academic career, started my first company in drug development, in oncology, and I've never stopped. I mean, I've started multiple other companies, still in the domain of drug development, medical devices. Also, I invested in digital health and genomics. So, and we professionally have been investing in deep tech and biotech with a colleague since 2012. Well, IP for us is fundamental in a sense that I have, as I said, a very strong background in biomedical sciences, and my colleague has also very strong background in semiconductor and microelectronics. So in both sectors where we are active, IP is a game changer. Very often in biotech, the objective of a company is to engage with a partnership or an acquisition with a pharmaceutical company that can actually then complete the clinical trials leading to registration. In medical devices, sometimes we have companies now that have approved products even in the United States, but for commercial distribution, for co-development agreements, larger companies are always involved. And larger companies need to know that if they purchase you or if they do a deal with you, that you can protect the ideas and products. So having a strong IP position, both in life science, biotech, medtech, or in deep tech, industrial technologies, is essential to be able to create value.
And what would you advise to young founders or startups?
I do that all the time because I'm a company builder, and we have essentially started, been involved in starting more than 20 companies in the last 10 years. I have these discussions about IP from the very beginning. So very often they're scared because they come from academia where intellectual property is not taught or not they're not exposed. Now with technology transfer offices, the discussion starts a little bit more to be present, but I see a lack in our academic background and how to explain the relevance of IP, because very often IP is seen as antagonistic to research, and which is not the case. It's just a matter of education. So I do a lot of education with our CEOs and then founders, and I'm always pushing every day, every time I meet with them to consider the angle of intellectual property. Very often, sometimes companies come with patents that have been filed too early, which is also a dramatic problem. So I need to make sure I understand the philosophy behind it. So it is a matter of, again, education. And then very often I'm involved in drafting of the patents, or most likely, very often actually, because we rely on external experts that do that, on the strategy development. So, and also from the investment side, when we do syndication with investors, very often investors rely on our expertise in intellectual property. So they ask us to evaluate the IP solidity, and I keep responding that, a snapshot of IP on a particular time means very little. One needs to see this longitudinally with time, because in reality, IP is evolving every time, and having been involved in filing more than 40 patents, and having been involved in licensing patents, selling products with IP protection, litigating patents as well to the highest degree of the Supreme Court of Delaware, I know how complex the situation is. So even issue patents can be contested, and I contested and won against issue patents. On the other side, one needs to really have a strategy to reinforce the entire IP portfolio, because that's a critical component of a company.
I'm Benedek Nassi. I'm from Alonic, the founder of Alonic. And we're a Hungarian company developing a manufacturing technology for complex robotic bodies. The way we do this is that basically we took the technology that we use in the industry to create ropes. So a very simple product, very complex piece of technology, and created a way to produce in a single straightforward process all the connective tissues, if you go by a biomechanical analogy for a robotic body. What that means is that instead of having hundreds of components like separate framework, bearings, pins, screws, whatever, and just having to assemble them manually or through a huge supply chain and automation line, we have a single platform rooted in textile technology for producing various complexities of robotic bodies.
And how do you use intellectual property to protect your technology?
Since we are a hardware-focused company, we definitely focus both in terms of what we can do with the technology and how the technology actually works on patenting and on making sure that we are on par with whatever we build before we get it. It's a cycle of patenting before you go to the market, etc., and also protecting IP, where it's more in the know-how domain and about how they use the technology and what is your specific expertise in that field, which is what enables us to do it.
Hello, I'm Fernanda from São Paulo in Brazil. We're currently here at Start Summit in the Start Fellowship Program, and I'm creating one of the first marketplaces of experiences in Brazil right now. We connect bars, restaurants, coffee shops, and events with people that live in big cities because they struggle to find unique experiences to hang out at weekends, and also local businesses as bars, restaurants struggle to find the right audience for them. So we connect the both parts, and we deal with a marketplace. We take a commission of everything that is booked inside our platform. So being here at Switzerland has been a great opportunity to know more about the European ecosystem, to learn with my other fellows that are also from Latin America and Africa, and know and be in the right place to reach the tendencies of technology, mainly in this event here at Start Summit. Something that inspired me to start is because there are not a lot of women in tech in general, not only in Brazil but at the world, and I always be passionate about technology since I was a kid. So having my startup, being selected for the program is truly an honor, and I think it's so important to have initiatives like the Start Fellowship Program that give us the equal opportunities both for young entrepreneurs from other countries. And yeah, it's truly an honor to be part of this program, being here in Switzerland, and also to speak in the podcast.
Thank you. And what inspired you to create your company?
Yeah, it all started with my problem. I was really struggling to find new places to go with my friends at weekends. And then I realized that we don't have an app, not a global app or not a local app that actually help us to discover the best options. But in the middle of the way, when I started to develop it, I realized that there was also a big problem in the side of the owners of bars and restaurants, because mainly of them closed their establishments with less than 1 year of operation. And that's because they don't know how to do a properly marketing and how to reach the old audience, and also how to communicate with the new generation that chooses where to go buy their phones. So right now I'm passionate about their problem too. So my main goal today is to bring these people to actually book their tables, consume at the restaurants, and support the local economy.
Thank you for listening to this Flash episode. If you would like to watch the full interviews and the full episode on video, please go to our YouTube channel, Intangiblia. See you next time with more stories and more IP.